Hi everyone! We haven't been able to get the bow easy in for quite some time. So today on StampTV, I'm going to show you another quick and easy way to make a bow for your card using a tool you can carry with you all the time. Today's card project features the new stamp set by Becky Oehlers called It's the Little Things. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to make this card project. First, you're going to need some ink, and I am using some of the Memento Tuxedo black ink. Along with that, I'm going to be using some Copic markers, and the colors I'm going to be using are R83, which is Rose Mist, BG10, which is Cool Shadow, C3, which is Cool Gray number 3, and a colorless blender pen. Then you're also going to need some some ribbon for your bow, and I'm going to use the Gina Designs 5/8 of an inch black Onyx gingham ribbon. I'm also going to use some black We Are Memory Keepers twine and one of our Bubblegum pink buttons. Then I'm going to use some glue dots, and we now carry them on the roll, which I like a little bit better, but these glue dots are the same glue dots in this kind of package if that's what you have, and that's what I'm going to use today. This will adhere my bow to my card project. Then for cardstock, I'm using some Gina Designs Bubblegum Pink along with white and black Onyx. And of course, I have some stamps from the new It's the Little Things stamp set. I'm using the elephant, I'm using the welcome and the little and the one, and I've lined those up on a line here on this block. What I like about these stamps being separate is you can stack them, you can stagger them, you can curve them, or you can put them all on a straight line like I've done here. Then I also have a balloon, and I have two little tails from the balloon that will go at the bottom, and I'll show you how that works. And then I have the elephant. So let's start by stamping the elephant onto this piece of Gina Designs white cardstock. And I'm going to do that using some of the Memento Tuxedo black ink. So I'm going to ink up this stamp. And then I'm going to stamp that down here toward the bottom of this card. Like that. Then I'm going to take the balloon off of here, and I'm going to put the first little string. Now the first string is going to go kind of across the top of the elephant's trunk, and you'll see what I mean. It's going to go right here like this. And then the other little piece is going to come down and go underneath the trunk, like it's coming out from the other side, right like that. See how that looks? So now it actually looks like he's holding on to that little string. And then I'm going to pop the balloon right on top, right there. Okay, and now I've built that little elephant with the balloon. Now I'm going to stamp the greeting right on top of the elephant's head, right in this little empty space right here. Welcome, little one. All right, so now that we have the elephant and the balloon stamped, I'm going to start to color. I'm going to start with that pink that matches our Bubblegum pink, and it's the Rose Mist R83. I'm going to color the balloon in that color. And you can see I'm not doing any fancy shading work because instead, because this is going to be a baby card, I'm going to do something a little different, which you've seen me do before on other projects, but I think it looks so cute for the baby card. Now I'm going to color the elephant in using this C3 Cool Gray, and I think I'll use this side first to do some of the bigger coloring. And then I'll grab the smaller end to fill in the rest. It's so fun to just color and not worry about it being all streaky, and That's the beauty of the Copic markers. Now I'm going to go back and fill that in a little bit more, get a little bit of heavier color in there. I don't know if many of you have tried the chisel side of your markers, but they actually are really nice. They lay down a lot of color really fast, which is nice when you're coloring these larger images. Now that I have the elephant all shaded, I'm going to add a little bit of cool shadow around the outside. And usually I like to do this first, but if you forget, you certainly can do it afterwards. And this just adds a little bit of nice glow around the outside of your image. And when you're not using a color like red, you're using a soft gray or a pink, it's really not so bad. Sometimes the red can bleed outside, so if you are using a red color, you may want to do this part of the coloring first. Okay, so there I have a little bit of a glow around the outside. Now my next step is to add a little bit of texture to this elephant, and I'm going to do that using the brush side of a colorless blender pen. I'm going to make some nice long strokes going across like this. And I really want to play off of the ribbon that I'm using. So I'm going to make him look more like a stuffed animal would look, just by creating these lines going across. And then I'm going to go back again and highlight them a little bit more. So he looks very, very striped right now. And now I'm going to go in the opposite direction to give him more of a checked or a gingham look to match the ribbon that I'm going to be adding. And if you give it just a second to work, you'll be able to see the color coming up, and then you can go back over your lines a second time to really brighten them. And it just makes it look a little bit more babyish. It's a very cute look. There we go. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the balloon. I'm going to come across with some lines. And you'll see them start to slowly appear. And there I have my matching balloon there. Okay, so now this panel is going to go on top of this black onyx panel. So I'll adhere those two pieces together. There we go. And now I'm going to put the whole card together and leave some room for a bow. What I've done here is I've taken a piece of our Bubblegum pink and I have added that to a panel of black onyx behind it. And this whole thing is going to go on a white card base. So we'll assemble these two pieces first. And then we're going to put this panel up here, but I'm going to hold off on assembling that because I want to position it once I have my bow ready. So now I've been telling you about this great tool that you could take with you anywhere that you go to make a quick bow, and I want to show you what it is. It's right here, your two fingers. Now, You may laugh a little bit, but I'm telling you, this is really simple to do, and you can always make a perfect bow just using your fingers. Now, depending on the thickness of the bow, you either want to keep your fingers close together or you want to add a third finger. I'm going to make kind of a bigger bow, so I'm going to add a third finger at first. All right, so this is going to be a triple loop bow. So I'm going to go around my hand once, twice, and that's going to give me 3 loops there. You can see when this comes up, there'll be 1, 2, 3 loops. Can you see that? There's the other loop. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this off here. All right, so now that I have the width of the bow that I want, I'm just going to replace my fingers with 2 fingers. That's about how far I want it to be. Now I'm going to slip this panel in between my fingers, this piece of ribbon in between my fingers, and come up, and then just like you would a bow easy, I'm going to slip it underneath there and pull nice and tight like that. And when you turn it over, you've got a bow. Now I'm going to take it off my fingers here. And then I'm going to pull these loops out, and you can see that there are 3 loops here. I'm going to leave the top one in the middle and pull the other ones out on either side. It's kind of wrinkled there. Okay, so there's 3 loops on that side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I know it's funny to use your fingers, but I'll tell you, in a bind, if you don't have a tool, that is super easy to do. And look how pretty this ribbon is coming out. All right, now I'm going to trim off the tails. So I'll trim 1 there and 1 here. And then I'm going to add a button to this whole thing, although that's so pretty just the way it is. But I'm going to put a button in there because I want it to be even cuter. So I'm going to do that using a little bit of baker's twine. What I'm going to do is lay the piece of baker's twine and then the bow over the baker's twine like that. And then I'm going to thread each hole with a little bit of baker's twine, and I'm going to tie this into a knot. Now, once I have that knot done, I can add my loops, trim off the excess, and then I have a triple loop buttony bow. So now I can assemble this card by popping this piece onto the top, up here. I like to make sure I have an even amount of dots showing on both sides from that Swiss dot Cuttlebug folder. And then my final step is to grab these glue dots and put 1 glue dot. You can put a couple if you want, but I think I'm going to do just 1 here, right in the center, right there. And then position that exactly where I want it. So we'll just put it down here a bit in the center and give it a nice press. And then you can straighten out the bow the way you want it. And there, there is my finished card project. Try this card in blue for a boy card, or in soft yellow or green if it's still a surprise.